Love the Midlands? Love Midlands 103. Mr. Fix-It is here to take on your DIY dilemmas. Text or WhatsApp to 083 3010 103.
It's that time of the week and I am so excited because Mr. Fix-It, I've only ever heard you. I've never actually seen you in the flesh.
I do understand it's a disappointment. I'm sorry. But you know,
not
what can I
at
say?
all.
And by the way,
I can't wait for the selfie
when
after
you
the show.
said, I'm so excited, what was
Brian
my answer?
Cloonan.
I said in my mind, you dirty Egypt, you.
You actually did call me a dirty Egypt. I thought you were going to call me something else. No, it was a dirty Egypt. It was very clean, Brian. But there I was last night, right? And you would be one of my idols from tuning in to Midlands 103 over
Once
the years.
again, I reiterate, you dirty Egypt.
Right, wandering through Tullamore, had a lovely bite to eat in the brewery tap. I may have gone into Spollen's for a Coke Zero, I'll add. My compadre had a beautiful pint of Guinness there. And as I walked up the street, I thought, speaking of Egypts, what are their Christmas trees doing in Cloonan's Hardware on William Street?
Well,
Christmas trees in the window.
In my defence, in our defence, I should say. So
people are purchasing already.
Well, it's not that really. I'll tell you what happens. We've a crew of 4. There's only 4 of us. Small little shop, crew of 4. If I do say so myself, we put on a great Christmas display, but it takes a monumental amount of work and a monumental amount of time, so we have to start early. But what happened yesterday is an absolutely typical example that happens at this time every year, and that is a lady came in and she gave out stink using a lot of expletives about the Christmas stuff being on display.
I was only slagging you. I'm not I'm not the Grinch.
This happens regularly. It happened yesterday.
It's a great talking point.
She bought 2 Christmas items totaling €110. So she spent the first 7 minutes giving out. I know. She spent 3 minutes giving. I shouldn't say it. Anyway, she spent 3 minutes giving out her Christmas.
She gave you the old twist.
And then she bought 2 Christmas items.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. In many of us, there's a big child that just loves Christmas.
You are very organised then, Mr. Fix-It. You're highly organised, are you?
No.
Who's getting all the credit in the shop then?
When it comes to Christmas, it's Tom. Tom loves Christmas and Tom puts the foot to the mat and sticks at it. Okay. Which is great.
Brilliant. But you're not alone. There are other outlets out there, and I know Brown Thomas put it up in August.
Yeah, that's right.
So you might even be late to the party if we're comparing you with somebody else.
Well, it's funny, I was in Dublin last weekend and my daughter works up there and I was spending time with her for the afternoon and we went strolling around, the city centre and we went into Brown Thomas. And
very
she said,
fancy.
She pulled away. She wanted something. It was a candle or something. But she pulled me away and said, "Don't look at the Christmas stuff." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because that's work." And I said, "No, I just want to have a quick look." And then at the end of it, she said, "Well, what did you think?" And I said, "Well, I think I'd love to get their prices for what they now look, they pay big ground rent,
Absolutely,
but I'd love to get their prices.
Saucy enough. Yeah. But I'd say you never have a day off because you probably go in and you're forensically examining a shop floor and you're getting inspiration.
You give me more credit than I deserve, I assure you.
I bet she was buying a Joe Malone candle in there as well.
She could have been, I can't remember.
Yeah, lovely smell off them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could do with one in here now. It'd be lovely. It'd make me very chilled out.
No, it's fine today. It's fine today. Normally when I come in on Wednesday morning, there is an old stench, I have to tell you. Whereas today, it's just lovely. But the stench that's here normally is just... I have actually refused sometimes to come in. I've asked can we use a different studio, but then I realised when we did that, the stench just transferred with him.
He's not here to defend himself.
There
and Brian, I should really be doing it, but I'm smiling. I'm enjoying this too much. So we have questions in for you already. And I know that people love to fire in the questions, the rapid fire round for you on 083 30 10 103. Our Mr. Fix-It in studio this morning, Brian Cloonan from Cloonan's Hardware on William Street in Tullamore. A fantastic shop, I have to say. I was looking through your window, but I have to walk through the doors now after the show. A listener says, Brian, we have spiders that would definitely terrify little Miss Muffet. I've never seen them so big before. Poor Alan in Mullingar. He says the teenage daughters are terrified of them. His question is, why our house and how do I get rid of them?
No, it's really, whatever it is about this year, it's so many houses. And actually, I wonder... meant to ask the question as somebody who has it. So when you have a house with the very strict air tightness, when you have an air to water system and the house
modern
is very,
houses.
very airtight,
Yeah.
does that make a difference to the spiders? Because a lot of people have a genuine, absolute fear of spiders. And unfortunately, it would seem whatever the summer we had, it suited spider reproduction. And now they're out there and
So
they don't like the cold.
the spiders were frisky over the summer.
Correct. They obviously like that weather, yeah.
Which, that's good. We need more insects, don't we?
Correct.
Biodiversity.
But here's the funny thing. I know I said this recently, but we'd very few wasps.
Right, okay.
And you would feel that dry, relatively warm summer would have suited the wasps, but it really didn't for some reason, and I don't understand why. But anyway, spiders are coming in looking for the heat, which of course, we've all turned on the heat. It's cold outside, so they're coming in. And they like to look for dark places, preferably slightly moist. But look, everywhere in Ireland is slightly moist. It's the humidity in Ireland. So they're looking for dark crevices, corners, gaps. But
in the bathroom, is that why we see them when we're about to fill the bath, they jump out and frighten us?
Yeah. So at this stage, really the best thing I always think is use one of and there's a whole raft of them out there. There's residual sprays. So the residual spray is an insecticidal spray that you just spray on the windows. And you'd open the window, spray it all around, close the window. And now if they crawl over that, they die. Now you can also try...
I find that horrific thinking about that. And on the other hand, I have family members that honestly a T-Rex would be less terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. So the other thing to say is peppermint oil they don't like, but I just don't know how long the smell lasts.
They don't. Does that actually work?
Oh, no, they don't like it, but I feel the smell goes very quickly.
Right.
Whereas the residual sprays last for 3 months.
Okay.
And at least you're stopping them from getting into the house.
And that's interesting on the airtight home. So you're kind of wondering there out loud, Brian, if anyone has such an aerated, airtight home.
Yeah, can they tell us? Can they let us know? Do they? And particularly if they've had an experience of living in houses that weren't airtight, and now they're living in a house that is airtight. Did it make a difference to the spiders, or are they so they can fold themselves to such a flat they can get in through tiny gaps? But I think that would be interesting.
Now, in case people think I'm super brave and macho and able to handle all the big spiders, well, I can handle all the big spiders, but the little ones I'm more scared of. I'm not mad about the little ants.
Yeah,
they actually, I get a physical feeling when I even see them.
Yeah.
I don't like the little ones. Yeah. I'm not scared of them. I just don't want them in the house. And I found that I'm sure you've seen these. Are they any good? The little things that you put in the corner of the house. I find them good.
They're the only thing that works for ants.
I find them good.
Yeah, because ants are actually very clever. So if, say, you use the residual spray that I spoke about, the ants will eventually work out. Lads, see that?
We're not going that way.
If we cross that line, we die. So we'll go by a different way. They are very, very organised and very clever, so that the only thing that works are the bait stations, because they bring what's in that back to the nest,
and everything dies.
And everything dies, exactly.
So actually, I'm not as nice as I made out earlier.
But it's funny when you say the little spiders. Some people. I mean, I am always fascinated because I don't know why. I don't mind them. I mean, I do catch them and throw them outside, but the daddy longlegs I don't like. But I've asked people in the shop who don't like spiders, and they don't have any problem with the daddy longlegs. So it's amazing. We all have things that
I don't mind the
like.
daddy longlegs. I don't really mind any of them, but the little ones, the ants, or fruit flies, particularly harrowing for me.
They were so prevalent this year. Whatever the weather conditions, I don't think we ever had as many people in buying the little fruit fly traps as we had this year. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, that's when the bleach comes out and the gloves are on instead of off. Marie wants to know, Brian, she says, good morning to you. I bought a chest of drawers with an oak top on it. I took off the price sticker. It left a residue that won't come off with soap and water. Wasn't sure if I'd harm the timber using a chemical remover. Yeah, so the first thing to always try with something like that is alcohol. So gin, vodka, hand sanitizer is usually just pure alcohol. And what I would do in that case is I just get a little bit of kitchen roll, sit it down on top of it, pour the hand sanitizer, the alcohol, methylated spirits, surgical spirits, any of the pure alcohols. Just pour that on, drop a bit of cling film down on top of it, just because it evaporates away
practically instantly. So drop the cling film down, leave it for about 10 minutes, and then rub it off with a soft cloth, an old cotton t-shirt or something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
That you do it without a problem, because you don't want to damage the surface.
Okay, so the alcohol and the cling film kind of to seal it.
Just to stop it evaporating away. It needs to remain active for about 5 minutes to soften everything up, to allow you to move it, and it will evaporate. Otherwise, just keep going back and pouring on a little bit more every time. But the bit of cling film, walk away, set the timer for somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
Yeah, when I was listening to you, it might have been on a very regular basis now, when I lived in Athlone, it might have been 2011, Brian, 2012, maybe 2010, around that time. Anyway, I used to wonder, how do you know all this stuff? Is that just the shop floor years of...
Every question you're asked, that I get asked on the radio, we get asked in the shop every day as well.
Okay.
Every day, yeah. And in fairness, if we don't know the answer, customers, and excuse me, if I don't know the answer here today, I'll say, Emer, to be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
But almost invariably, either someone will ring here or somebody will ring the shop and say, you know that thing you didn't know the answer to?
I know.
Here's what you do.
And they love that then as well. The listeners love to help you out.
I must tell you a quick story. We had a customer in one time, and we've mentioned this in the radio, and I sometimes mention it because it has happened so many times. So people buy a small household safe that works on batteries, and they forget the battery low comes up and they forget to change the batteries, and of course the battery power runs out and they can't open the safe. We had this lady in the shop with this problem, and I was saying, oh God, you're in trouble. And then a guy behind her says, do you know what you try, Mrs.? Do you know what you try, Mrs.? Put a fan heater or a hairdryer on it for about 10 minutes and try and heat up the batteries. And you know, if you heat a battery, you get a little bit more power.
Might activate it for a minute.
It worked for her.
Wow.
It worked for half a dozen customers afterwards.
That's a great tip.
Fantastic. It hadn't occurred to me. I rang, here's the thing, this customer, and in inverted commas, an old fella, behind her. I rang my biggest safe supplier in Dublin, who would sell, thousands of safes every year, and said, Fergus, I'm sure you know this, because you're the safe man, and I told him the story, and you could hear this long silence on the phone, and he says, holy divine, no one has ever come up with that. We have drilled open safes in the past for customers.
There you go, you could have saved them.
Safe. Isn't it gas?
That's amazing.
So where does it come from? It mostly comes from the public.
Stay with us. Brian Cloonan is with us in studio. Highlight of my week here on Midlands Today.
You dirty idiot.
I'm telling you. And Brian, of course, from Cloonan's Hardware on William Street in Tullamore. Check out his range of Christmas trees if you're in town. It's worth it. We'll be back after these.
Mr. Fix-It is here to take on your DIY dilemmas. Text or WhatsApp to 083 3010 103.
Do send us your DIY dilemmas. We'd love them. Hi to you both. Please ask Brian, what was the paint called that covers up old... And the message ends there. We're on the edge of our seats. Come back and tell me, covers up old what? I'm not sure, so we'll wait for them to come back. And somebody else, ask Brian how to clean the face of the iron, which is black from burn stains. And this happens to the best of us, I think, Brian.
Really. So, the first thing you have to just work out is it metal? Is it obviously the iron? The base of the iron is metal, but is it coated with something? So you tend to have three different options. One is it'll be silver in colour. It'll look like aluminium or stainless steel, or it could have a Teflon coating, or it could have an enamel, like an enamel, a ceramic coating.
Yes.
So if it's a hard, shiny surface, then you simply use hob cleaner, ceramic hob cleaner, or you could use stuff for cleaning brass, like Barkeeper's Friend or Peak Polish, or one of those slightly abrasive but not too abrasive.
All right.
And
the
I'd
pink
always
stuff
use
wouldn't
them.
work
The pink
on
stuff,
that.
yeah,
Would
you
it
can try
work?
the pink stuff that's slightly abrasive, and use a nylon pad. So you know the yellow sponges with a bit of green nylon. That's really good to use with that. Again, slightly abrasive but not too abrasive.
Not your Brillo pad,
not
elbow
your Brillo
action.
pad, exactly.
No. Okay.
And don't do a circular action, do up and down. So if you pick up an iron, you go back and forth. So go in the direction of that grain. Well, you don't want to go across the thing, because then it provides more drag. Now, if it's metal, you can still use the abrasive, but you could also get some very fine emery paper, sit it down on a surface and just run the iron back and forth.
Okay.
And that'll be a very quick way of doing it. So very fine emery paper would be like 320 grade black emery paper. People often use it for cleaning the top of the hot plate on their ceramic, on their solid fuel stoves, or their solid fuel Stanley 9s or cookers or whatever. But that'll clean it all off very quickly, but only if it's plain metal.
Okay, now apologies to the listener, because sure, it's me being an Amadan, Brian. You have to open the message in order to read it. But
right.
It's a school day in here for me today. Please ask Brian, what was the paint called that covers up old walls, inside walls? Is there a floor paint, is the second question, available that can be painted over the original floor tiles? Thanks, says Mary.
So we do the second one. The second one is a quick
first.
answer. I'd never recommend painting over floor tiles. It will chip unless you go to get a 2-pack floor paint, which is expensive and difficult to work with.
It's a fierce job,
and it's a horrible job because it's a 2-pack. It's very smelly. So you'd be as well just lift the tiles or tile over the tiles rather than go to the expense of a 2-pack floor paint. But if you're going to paint them, yes, a 2-pack floor paint. It's used in industrial settings. You get a 4 litre of one and a 1 litre of the other. You mix it together, you stir it all up, and it sets hard in an hour. If you didn't use it, it would be rock solid in the tin in an hour. So you have to only mix what you're going to use. On old walls inside, it depends really what condition they're in. I would always say, if they're really bad condition, a light sanding. So if you look at old walls and there's paint flaked off all over the place, you sand as best you can. But really what you're trying to do is, if you were to run your fingernail, if you paint over where there's a bit of paint missing, you'll see the missing line.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, close your eyes, run your fingernails down the wall. If you can feel that crevice, then you'll see that crevice.
Yeah.
So then what you do is, everywhere there's a bit of paint missing, you get a very fine, say the black 320 sandpaper would be brilliant, and just do what's known as feathering the edges. So that means all along that little gap where you can feel the joint, you give it a light sanding. Now when you run your fingernails over it, you can no longer feel it. When you can't feel it with your fingernails, the eye won't see it afterwards. The best
That's
paint
really
to
good
use,
advice. It's a bit like makeup, Brian. It's all in the prep.
Okay.
Because
You see,
underneath
now we're
you
outside.
have to prime the face.
Now we're outside.
You have to
I know
wash
this.
the face. You have to make
Yeah,
sure
there
there's
you
no
go.
lumps and bumps.
Okay.
They're all going to show
You
up.
are outside my field of expertise when you come to makeup.
Sure, it's all painting, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Yeah, but that's good advice. And on the tiles, I'd agree with you. I've seen actually there's a heroic women into DIY on Instagram now. And fair play to them, but they're doing the stenciling and all that, and it might look nice on Insta, but I fear if I was in real life and I have a little touch of OCD, I'd be noticing what you're mentioning, that it's very hard to get them as good as tiles.
Well, the reason you buy tiles in the first place, they're as tough as nails. They take the abuse. You're walking in. If you
They're
walk
clean,
around in
you
slippers,
can wash them.
if you walk around in slippers or walking around in your stocking feet, it's fine. The problem is, we've all done it where you walk in and realise, oh, there's a piece of gravel stuck in my shoe. And now you're rubbing a stone along a painted surface. And that's never going to be good.
That's not good, Brian. Not good at all. Okay, so thanks to our listeners for the questions there. We might have time, Brian, just for one more, but this is a very common one. Black mould growing at the top of the wall and at the edge of the ceiling on 2 walls in my son's bedroom. We're 9 years in the house. It's never been there before. I've checked for leaks. I can't find anything. What should I do?
I'd say it's just simply a lack of insulation at that particular point. So if it's just black mould, no brown staining that would indicate a leak, I would say it's just where there was a cold winter, excuse me, and once mould starts to grow, it just spreads and spreads and spreads. And funny, if you wash it, it just spreads it worse. So all you do is put on a mould killer, leave it 24 hours, wash it off, and then put the mould killer back on a second time and don't wash it off. So it's a bit like putting a weed killer on your gravel. You put on the weed killer and you rake off the dead weeds when they're dead. That's putting on the mould killer and washing it 24 hours later. And then to stop the weeds from coming back, you put on a preventative weed killer. And that's by putting the mould killer back on, you're preventing any regrowth from starting again.
Okay,
because the spores
follow
are
the
everywhere.
steps.
Follow the steps, exactly.
Okay.
And that's a cheap
Read
and
the
cheerful.
instructions.
Doesn't take much effort. Doesn't cost a fortune. I don't know, less than €15 will buy you a bottle and you'll have loads and that will take care of the problem for you. And if you can think of doing it, it'll take 2 minutes to do it. If you think of doing it at the start of every winter, the preventative one, just rub it on. It's a clear liquid. It's like water. You just rub it on, and that you're putting on the preventative that'll stop it from coming back.
Okay, just before you go, Mary wanted to tell you, spiders don't sting unlike wasps. Spiders do no harm. She thinks they're great. That's good to know. And
they eat all the insects, the other insects in your house that you don't want, like your fruit flies.
That's true. And then Hilda says spiders aren't insects but arachne. She says, I wonder whether the large numbers of spiders and the low numbers of wasps are related.
Yeah.
Well,
there has to be, there's obviously a climate reason for it. This particular summer just didn't suit wasps. I did suit spiders.
I know we're dead late, but only for Brian Cloonan I'd go over anyway. Joe wants to know, he says power washing done around the house ever since, 2 windows totally fogged up. Any solution? Thanks.
No, I'm afraid the problem is there's a break in the seal. So it is, look, it's not the end of the world. It's only a window panel. It's a glass panel. So you just pop out that glass panel and pop in. It's not the end of the world. It's not huge money. It's just there's a break in the seal of there's a vacuum between the 2 panes of glass. Moisture has gotten in. It can't get out.
So you need a professional if you can't do that yourself to reseal it.
Yeah, but it's not reseal it. It's basically take out that glass. So you have a double glass panel. You have 2 sheets of glass that are glued together, for want of a better description. There's a vacuum in the middle. The vacuum is gone. The water has gotten in. The water can't get out now and will never get out. So they take out that panel and they put in a new one. It's not a big deal. They'll come in. They'll measure up. You can measure it. It may be a standard size. They'll pop it out. They'll pop it back in again. You're not replacing the window frame. You're just replacing the glass. And it's not the end of the world and it's not huge money.
Okay, that's really good to know. So if you can outsource it, I'd say, if this person can, but they're not going to be paying for a full window frame or anything like that.
Correct.
Brian, Mr. Fix-It, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Emer. It was lovely to meet you
today. Thank you. It was lovely to meet you.